Okay, friends, how are you all? I hope you all have been good. So, here we come with another section, another segment of one concept, one question, where we are going to talk about composition scheme, right? And this is applicable to like all inter and final CA, CMA, CS students. So, all can watch it. The entire objective, my dear friends, of doing this exercise is very simple. That पूरा का पूरा जो chapter है, okay, I just want to summarize it in one question, right? अगर chapter है तो chapter, अगर concept है तो concept, okay. So when it comes to composition scheme, the biggest issue that students face, my dear friends, is with respect to the fact that भैया करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर के टर्नओवर में क्या करना है, एग्रीगेट फाइनेंशियल के टर्नओवर में क्या करना है. दैट इज जनरली द इशू दैट यू ऑल फेस, राइट? So it's really confusing at times that what to do when. So before we just do the concept, a quick revision, my dear friends, on the fact that when it comes to composition scheme, understand there are two things to be understood. First is previous financial year ka turnover, and the other is current financial year ka turnover. Acha, why do we see previous financial year ka turnover? Very simple. The reason we see that is because we want to check the eligibility. We want to check the eligibility of the person, whether he is able to simply, okay, take composition scheme in current financial year or not. Very simple, right? So in this case, please try and understand, okay, that हम लोग पिछला साल देख रहे हैं. We are actually seeing the last year, right? And in last year, understand, either your last year is zero because you started business in the current financial year, or you are probably in normal scheme. So if you are in normal scheme, understand, my dear friends, okay, because the question will be generally that he wants to switch from normal to compo, can he do that or not? Then understand one thing, my dear friends, that when it comes to preceding financial year, if he was under normal scheme, then understand he can possibly do anything and everything. He does not have any conditions to comply with. Absolutely not. He can do anything and everything. There is no 10 subsection 2 coming out there and restricting it. No. 10 subsection 2 comes when you have taken composition scheme. But in previous year, you are in normal scheme. And in normal scheme, there are no conditions. You can do whatever you want to do. Taxable, exempt, export, intra, inter, non-taxable, supply through ECO. You can be manufacturer of any product, you can be trader of any product. Doesn't matter till the time you keep paying tax, right? And understand that in the entire thing with respect to composition scheme, it's very important to understand that it is meant for small taxpayers, right? And how do we determine small taxpayers? By the amount of sales they do, right? तो हिंदी में एक वर्ड है ऑक्स, औकात बोलते हैं उसको, पर मैं ऑक्स बोलता हूँ तो अच्छा लगता है. तो हाउ कैन यू डिटरमाइन समवन्स ऑक्स? वेरी सिंपल, बाय सीइंग at how much sales are they doing. Very simple, right? By how much sales are they doing, boss? How much sales are they doing? So in preceding financial year, you are only checking as to how much outward supplies are they doing. Just focus on that, right? Just focus on that, my dear friends, okay? and this can be intra taxable, non-taxable, exempt, anything and everything, but it will only not have one thing, and that is interest. So okay, just do not include 2 to 3 things: interest and discount, obviously GST, and inward supply where taxes payable as per RCM. That's it. Okay, so the entire focus on this has to be that. Okay, and yeah, that's how I have created one simple sum where all possible adjustments could have been asked, right? You just need to have a clear mindset. So A Limited, a manufacturing concern in Rajasthan, has opted for compo scheme. Okay, it furnishes the following information for financial year 1920. A Limited's aggregate turnover preceding financial year was 43 lakhs, right? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's a wrong question. We're supposed to come here actually. Yeah, this looks good. My bad. So A Limited, a manufacturing concern, furnishes you with the following information, right? 1920. It requires you to determine whether whether A Limited is eligible for compo scheme in 2021. Okay, if it is registered in Mumbai. Okay, to understand one thing clearly, that you are in Mumbai. The reason it's very important to see where you are located is because of very simple reason, and that is correct. Whether you are whether the threshold limit applicable to you is 150 lakhs or 75 lakhs. Correct? Okay, straight to the point. Intrastate taxable supply of services inclusive of GST. So this is an adjustment. 5% GST here. What will I do? Okay, 63 lakhs divided by 105 multiplied by 100, that makes it to 60 lakhs. Intrastate supply of services which are chargeable to GST at nil rate. So it's chargeable at nil rate. Nil rated supplies are definitely a part of exempted supplies. Exempt supplies are part of aggregate turnover. So you will include it. Interstate supply of goods by which are taxable 9 lakhs. Now there is often a confusion here that sir, interstate supplies lenge ya nahi lenge? Will we take this or will we not take this? We will take it because it is the data that is provided to you is of previous financial year. And in previous financial year, we were a normal taxpayer. We could have done anything and everything. And which is why understand the restriction is applicable in current financial year and not in previous financial year. Right now we have the data of previous financial year, and hence we are going ahead with clear mindset. There is absolutely no conditions attached to it. Okay, perfect. We will clearly take this. Value of inward supply on which taxes payable RCM? No, we will not, because we will only focus on sales. Because आपकी औकात कैसे बनती है? सेल्स से. तो स्मॉल टैक्स पर कैसे कहला जाओगे? जब आपकी सेल्स कम होंगी, परचेज लेने का कोई क्वेश्चन ही नहीं. Interest on that is something that we will never take in the entire composition scheme computation, whether preceding financial year का turnover या फिर current financial year. Outward supply by taxes payable as per RCM. Yes, we will take this into consideration. Please understand why. The reason is very simple, because again the focus is on outward supply, not on who pays the tax. Acha, intrastate supplies of petrol which are not leviable to GST. Understand my difference in this case? Again, this is non-taxable supply, and if you can recollect in 10.2, it is said that if you take composition scheme, you cannot go ahead and do non-taxable supplies. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, but are we in current financial year? No. Have we taken compo scheme? No. We are just checking whether we can take or not by viewing the previous financial year ka data. Definitely take it, right? And taxable goods supplied to branch in Surat. So this is basically uh, a supply that you are doing to a distinct person, which is also a supply. Definitely won't be an issue. So you add all of that, and that amount comes down to 1 crore 53 lakhs, which is more than 1 crore 50 lakhs, and hence compo scheme nahi le paoge. Acha, will your answer be if the same if D is a trader? D nahi, A is a trader. Answer is yes. Understand, being a trader or a manufacturer, okay, impacts your computation in current financial year. Why? Because a trader discharges his liability 1% on only taxable supplies and manufacturer 1% on taxable and exempt supplies. तो फर्क करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर में पड़ेगा जब कंप्यूटेशन होगा इसका टैक्स लायबिलिटी. प्रीवियस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में सब भाई भाई ही है, everyone is equal, there are no changes to be made. Are you getting it? Yes. Perfect. सही है, ठीक है. So this is the previous financial year का क्या है sum, and it's a holistic sum. Clearly all adjustments possible that possibly could have been asked are there in this. So you should be clear that okay fine, I am confident with compo scheme now, right? And now here we speak about the data of current financial year, right? Now here I want to talk something very interesting, guys. Okay, in current financial year, understand the reason why we need to know what needs to be included and what not is very simple, because understand this year you have already taken compo scheme. Correct? You have already taken compo scheme. Now you have to first adhere to the conditions of compo scheme, and second, pay tax as per compo scheme. Okay, pay tax as per compo scheme. Very simple, right? Now first things first, very simple. Please try and understand that okay, according to 10 subsection 2 there are few conditions, and only when you adhere to those conditions you can stay in composition scheme. Otherwise the compo scheme lapses and you will directly start with normal scheme. Are you getting it? Yes. Okay, which are what? Very simple. You cannot make any interstate outward supply. You cannot supply through ECO where your TCS is collected under section 52. You cannot be a manufacturer of tobacco, ice cream, pan masala, fly ash bricks and building materials and roof times of all of that, right? And you cannot be a CTP, NRTP, and you cannot make non-taxable supplies. These are the conditions. तो ये नहीं करना है आपको, ये नहीं करना है, because if you do it you lapse composition scheme and normal scheme starts. Make sense? Yes. Now the objective that needs to be taken into consideration is that okay, then what are the things to be taken care of? Two simple things. In current financial year there is a good possibility that you will have two types of liabilities. One is output tax liability and the other is input tax liability. ठीक है? आउटपुट टैक्स लाइबिलिटी में क्या सीन होता है? वेरी सिंपल. आउटपुट टैक्स लाइबिलिटी में वेरी सिंपल. ओके, all you have to focus is on just check whether you are a manufacturer, a restaurant or trader. ठीक है? If you are a manufacturer or for that matter service provider, if you are a manufacturer 1%, 5%, 1%, 6%. You will multiply this with your outward supplies, okay, which generally turns out to be taxable and exempt. This is the same for restaurant, this is the same for service provider, but only in case of trader you will multiply it with taxable supplies. Okay, perfect. And in input tax liability, always remember, okay, whoever you are, manufacturer, restaurant, trader, service provider, in case of input tax liability, always pay tax at normal rates. At normal rates. तो फिर वो 5% हुआ, 12 हुआ, 18 हुआ, 28 हुआ, whatever the case may be. Is that very clear? Yes. That's it. And by the way, this both will be always be payable in cash. It will always be payable in cash. That's it. Okay. ये बात जरूरी थी जो बोलनी थी, ठीक है. Now let's go ahead and see how it works out. Very simple. So in preceding financial year, my turnover was 43 lakhs. As a manufacturing concern, understand from Rajasthan, 150 lakhs limit is applicable in current financial year. I can clearly go ahead with compo scheme. Now, intrastate supply of goods X chargeable at 5% GST. Now, don't get confused because of 5%. It only means that it's taxable supplies, and it would have been taxable at 5% if you were in normal scheme. That's it. That's all it means. So 6 lakhs. Take that into account. Intrastate supplies made which are chargeable to GST at nil rate. Okay. So this is exempt supplies. You can take that. Intrastate supplies which are wholly exempt. You can take that. Okay. Value of inward supplies. We will give that a pause right now. Intrastate supplies of goods Y chargeable at 18%. You can take that. These are taxable supplies, because in case of manufacturer, you take all sorts of outward supplies, taxable and exempt, right? And interest earned, you are not taking it even in current financial year, right? So outward supplies अपना sorted है. 30 plus 2 lakh 20 plus 1 lakh 80, that's 32, 33, 34, 40, right? 40 lakhs. 40 lakhs multiply by 1% makes it 40,000, right? Perfect. Next is, my dear friends, क्या है बताइए 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 बताइए. Correct, absolutely correct. Okay, and that is, my dear friends, input tax liability as per RCM. So value of inward supply on which tax payable under RCM is 5,50,000, is 5,50,000. Then in that case what happens is 5 lakh multiply by 5% यानी कि 25,000. Okay, very simple. तो यहाँ पे एक और आएगा, इनपुट टैक्स लायबिलिटी एज पर RCM. ठीक है. तो इनपुट टैक्स लायबिलिटी एज पर RCM में डेफिनेटली वी विल टेक इनटू कंसिडरेशन ₹5 lakh multiplied by 5%, that is 25,000. एंड ऊपर वाला जरा एक सेकंड में ठिकाने लगा देता हूँ. आउटपुट टैक्स लायबिलिटी is 40 lakhs multiplied by 1%, 40,000. So that is a total of 65,000 payable in cash. Okay. Will your answer be different as a trader? Hell yes. Why? Okay, because understand, this will be the same. ये तो 25,000 ही रहेगा, But if you are a trader, then this will boil down to only taxable supplies. So you won't be taking, understand, you won't be taking 6 lakhs. Sorry, you will be only taking 6 lakhs because it's taxable. Nil rated नहीं आएगा, exempted नहीं आएगा. 30 lakhs आ जाएगा because it's taxable. So 36 lakhs would actually come in, right? So 36 lakhs multiplied by 1% is 36,000. So total मार लो, whatever is 50 and 61,000. Okay, and it will be entirely payable in cash because in composition scheme you never take ITC, right? Also, when you're seeing MCQ questions and you're solving composition scheme, understand one thing, that never focus on the date of purchases except where the purchase is taxable as per RCM. Normal purchases have no respect in composition scheme because उसका नहीं मिलता है ATC, उसका computation में कोई क्या इफेक्ट ही नहीं. तो फोकस ऑन द आउटपुट सप्लाई, आउटपुट टैक्स, जो भी आता है पे कर दो, खत्म कर दो, ठीक है, दैट्स इट. So this is the best sum that could have been asked, okay, under correct composition scheme, because हम लोगों ने दोनों ही करके क्या है देख लिया है. We've understood what the preceding financial year का data looks like. We've understood what the current financial year का data looks like. What to include and exclude in previous year and in current year. Both we've understood very okay in a comprehensive manner, and I hope this really helps you because this covers both previous financial year के adjustments and current financial year के adjustments. The entire sum is drafted only with that perspective के all the aspects are covered, right? So that's it, my dear friends. And also understand that in question number 1 I have specifically made sure that all the conditions in 10.2, none of the adjustments are covered here. So you will not see interstate outward supply, non-taxable supplies, because the day it happens, understand, from that day itself I will have to make sure that normal scheme supplies ka rate is applicable. Got it? That's it. So that's all I wanted to tell you, and that's all I feel this entire discussion amounts to with respect to one concept, one question with respect to composition scheme. I hope this really benefits you, and I hope if it benefits you, you can share it, you can like, and you can comment. Parag Agarwal, if you are still there. Okay. So yes, in that case, my dear friends, absolutely, this is what I wanted to ask. This is what I want to tell. ठीक है, that's it. चलो, okay public, adios amigos, hasta la vista, खाली थोड़ा पास्ता. चलो.